So the Andrew Brown case has turned out exactly the way that I thought it would be concluded. The officers who shot and killed Andrew Brown were found innocent, cleared of all the charges that the mob were trying to lodge against them, that they were murderers, and that this was an execution of a black man who was just trying to drive his vehicle. This has all turned out to be exactly the way that I thought it would be. Complete nonsense, horse crap, garbage, basura, whatever you want to call it. This case was obvious from the beginning. It was obvious that these cops were innocent. And now the court has concluded exactly what I thought from the beginning. Because Andrew Brown, as the Attorney General of North Carolina said, he tried to hit officers with his car. Andrew Brown tried to use his car as a weapon. And this was revealed in the body cam footage from the officers. The AG, the Attorney General, watched the footage and he said, yeah, it's quite obvious. Andrew Brown tried to use his car as a weapon. Now, Andrew Brown's family and the attorney, or attorneys, because I think they had multiple attorneys, they were saying this was an execution. They need to release the body cam footage. What do they have to hide? And the officers, the police department said, hey, we have to edit some things in the video. We have to blur some of the faces out in the video, in the footage, because we want to protect their identities. And that's quite obvious, because when you have a situation like this in the middle of this crazy anti-police atmosphere that leftist fanatics and anarchists and communists have been trying to cultivate, when you have this sort of atmosphere, yes, you have to protect the identities of officers because you have a mob that wants to kill cops. But the fanatics, the instigators, the agitators, the exaggerators, they were saying, what do they have to hide? What do they have to hide? And as I said before, the body cam footage does not have to be released to the public, because you have people in the public who hate the cops, and they are going to hate the cops no matter what. You could show them the video footage of Andrew Brown trying to run over officers. They would still hate the cops. They would still hate them. And people who honor the cops, who respect the cops, as most people do, they don't have to see the body cam footage, because they would hear the Attorney General and they would say, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Cops are innocent. And the conclusion was out, and the conclusion is that the officers are innocent. So I'll read to you guys the report. This is from the AP, and it says here, a North Carolina prosecutor said Tuesday that sheriff's deputies were justified in fatally shooting Andrew Brown Jr. because the black man, notice how the media loves to portray things. They love to overemphasize the color of a person's body. The black man. They can't just say the man. They can't just say Mr. Brown or Andrew. They have to say the black man. They have to specify race all the time. They got to get in that racial instigation. Because the black man struck a deputy with his car and nearly ran him over while ignoring commands to show his hands and get out of the vehicle. So he tried to use his car as a weapon, almost murdered an officer with his vehicle, and the cops had no choice but to take this person out. District Attorney Andrew Womble said at a news conference that Brown used his car as a deadly weapon, causing Pasquotank County deputies to believe it was necessary to use deadly force. And this is one of the very few cases in America that we have every year where officers have to use deadly force. It's rare for officers to have to use deadly force. We have 10 million arrests every single year in this country. Cops get cold thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands of times in this country every year, probably even more than that. And you have 1,000 deaths by cops. So it's very rare. It's very rare. Womble, who acknowledged Brown wasn't armed with guns or other weapons, said the deputies will face no criminal charges after he reviewed a state investigation of the shooting, which sparked weeks of protests. Pasquotank County Sheriff Tommy Wooten II said in a video statement Tuesday afternoon that the deputies will keep their jobs, but will be disciplined and restrained. That's political. That's just put there to make it look like the cops had some sort of, that they're going to try to appeal to the mob. That's all this is. Brown's family released a statement calling Womble's decision both an insult and a slap in the face. Attorneys for the family, they have multiple attorneys. Attorneys for the family who watched body camera footage have said repeatedly that he was trying to drive away from deputies serving drug-related warrants and posed no threat. So, in other words, truth doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that this guy tried to use his car to murder an officer, almost ran a deputy over. None of that matters. What matters is that a black man was shot and that you can never bring a black man to justice because they can do no wrong. That's pretty much what this mob believes. Black man can do no wrong. You can run over a cop. You can run over a cop, kill him, crush him under your tires. None of that matters. Because what truly matters to the mob is removing authority. The Bible speaks of the government as the imposer of God's vengeance. This is in Romans chapter 13, or Romans 12. I believe it's Romans 12. The government is the one who holds the sword of vengeance, according to the scripture. So those who are of the children of the devil, those who are of the children of the lie, as Jesse Lee Peterson would put it, they want to remove everything that is good. So they want to get rid of authority. They want to remove authority. They want anarchy. They hate the cops. And it doesn't matter what good police officers do. Police officers could save 1 million black babies. They would still want to kill the cops because it's not about black people. Listen, they are many, many, many videos of officers helping black people. You can see them on YouTube. You'll see a black baby that's choking. White officer comes and saves the baby's life. There are numerous videos like this on YouTube. Numerous. Doesn't matter. Cops hate black people. They are videos of cops helping black folks. Doesn't matter. Case in point was the story of Ma'Khia Bryant. Ma'Khia Bryant was a black girl who was about to stab another black girl. Officer comes up and he shoots Ma'Khia Bryant and rescues the black girl from being stabbed. Cop saved the black woman. None of that matters. Cops are racist. Cop is evil. Cops are the worst thing ever. They are terrorists. Oh my God. Okay, here's another thing that I want to bring up. By the way, this is, I don't know if you guys can, no. Yeah, I guess you could see some of the color. This is tea that I grew myself. It's called Yaupon tea. It is North America's only native caffeinated plant. And let me tell you, this stuff is powerful. I'd recommend people grow this. You can buy bushes pretty cheap at Lowe's. Yaupon holly. Look that up. Great, great tea plant. I'm not being sponsored. I'm just telling you, this is pretty good stuff. Anyway, conservatives like to talk about Black Lives Matter. They like to talk about Black Lives Matter, that it's an enemy of society, and it is, right? Black Lives Matter is not good. But there's something that's more dangerous than Black Lives Matter. There's something more dangerous than the typical protesters that you've been seeing since 2015, when Obama was still president. And that is the white agitators who hate cops. I've seen them. There are numerous of them on YouTube. They call them police, like police watchers. I forgot the exact term for them. But they watch the cops. And most of these guys are white. And they're not necessarily like BLM. They don't really talk so much about how cops are racist. You don't really hear that from them. But what they will say is things like cops are terrorists, cops are thugs. They will even call them blue ISIS. And these guys are more sophisticated than the Black Lives Matter activists. Because what these guys do is they will go to the cops, they will do some really annoying stuff, obnoxious stuff, like get a camera and just film some cops randomly. Cops are like, "Hey, what are you doing? We're in the middle of an investigation here. Hey, we're trying to do an investigation here. Why are you filming?" "I'm just filming." "Why are you filming?" "I'm just filming." "Okay, can I see some ID?" "No." And then the cop will demand for some ID. The guy refuses. And then the guy says, "You're a tyrant. You want to restrict our rights." And then they will also try to provoke the officers. I mean, this is the type of thing that BLM activists don't generally do. They will provoke officers. They'll go to the officers and say, "You're fat. You're stupid. You're a SOB." They'll think of any kind of insult. And they try to provoke officers to get the officer to react physically, so that they can say, "Look, I'm a victim of police brutality." They will take cases of cops using force and say, "Tyrant, tyrant, tyrant," and they will completely exaggerate it. These guys are just they're provocateurs, they're agitators, and they can appeal to the American right winger, or they can appeal to the American conservative type, the one who leans more conservative, the one who leans more right wing. Those are more dangerous. Those are more dangerous. The Boogaloo boys who hate the cops, those people are more dangerous because those people tend to lean more conservative. They tend to lean, they're not like pro-life or anything, but they have more of an appeal to the person who has a "don't tread on me" flag. They have an appeal to the people who are hardcore about the Second Amendment. Most Americans support the Second Amendment. Most Americans support the possession of weapons. And these types of agitators can have more of an appeal to the average American as opposed to a BLMer who doesn't have much of the appeal of the American populace. Again, I'm digressing to a different subject, but going back to what I was saying, the people who hate the cops, they don't want the cops to really do their jobs. Like if a cop shoots someone who's using a vehicle as a weapon, as in this case, Andrew Brown Jr., cops are bad no matter what. So the cop should get ran over, the cop should get stabbed, the cop should get shot, because the cop should never use deadly force. If cops are going to be attacked every time they use deadly force, then that means the cops can really do nothing. Criminals can do what they want. Criminals can attack cops. Criminals can use their vehicles as weapons. Cops can't fight back. And if cops can't fight back, that means the criminals win. And that means you have anarchy. These people who hate the cops, a lot of these people are anarchists and communists. And in order for them to usher in their utopia, they have to cause enough chaos in society. Well, how do you do that? You destabilize the one institution that imposes the law. That's the police force. Once you destabilize that enough, then you can bring out more crime. You bring out more crime, cops aren't readily available. Then who suffers the most? The poor, the working class. The wealthy people, the people who are well-to-do or who are rich, they will simply pay for their own security. Then you will have the rise of private security companies, as you do in South Africa. People will pay money for security. The poor won't have as many police officers because the cops would be greatly limited. Poor is going to suffer the most under criminals. What happens is communists, socialists, some type of political fanatics, they go to the poorer people and say, "Look, they're rich. They have their own police. We don't have our own police. We're suffering under criminals. The government is evil. The government is corrupt." Then you can use the poor, you can manipulate the poor into supporting a revolution. I think that this is the type of plan that some of these ideologues have in mind. They want to spark revolution. They want to spark anarchy. And it's not just left-wingers who are doing this. You have these sort of far-right fanatics, these Boogaloo Boy types who also want to see revolution. And that's why you will see Boogaloo Boys joining hands with black radicals and black separatists because they all hate the police equally. It's all very dangerous, and it's all leading to lawlessness. And this is really the result of human callousness. For as Jesus Christ said, the lawlessness will abound, and the love of many will grow cold. Anyway, you guys heard some theology. God bless.